Hey everyone, Joel here with Dissecting DIY, and today what we are going to be doing is installing the V1P MAX REXING dash cam. This is a 4K dash cam with rear 1080p. So what's going to happen is when if you were to run the front camera alone, it'll run in 4K, but when you run dual, it'll both run front and back 1080p. I am going to be showing you how to install the REXING dash cam accessory known as the hardwiring kit. This has a relay and will wire into both a constant on and ignition switch fuse. We're going to be tying into the fuse panel, and then of course the other recommended product was a high endurance card of 256 gigabytes, which is the maximum these can take in. So let's go ahead, and I got to take out another cam. I'm going to show you what I did to install that one. We're going to remove some 3M tape, and then of course we're going to do the install. Let's get started. Alright, so here I am sitting on the passenger side of my 2017 Chevy Silverado. This is the old dash cam that we're going to be taking off that I mentioned earlier. So here you can see this is for the rear camera, and I've run them up above this liner here. This is the power. So the power, you're going to run along right here, and I'm going to show you how to do this. Run along all the seams. You can actually see part of the wire right here, down and around, right here under the floor mat. These mine need to be cleaned. And then I actually ran up the wire to the middle console where there's power. You're going to be using a 12-volt power source using the lighter circuit. What we're going to do today is actually, on that side of the vehicle, wire into the fuse panel. So what I'm going to do is actually, I want to move this more center. I'm going to take probably this off and remove that. I'll have to order some more from Easy Pass, and then that way it's more centered. The other thing I want to be able to do is access the camera. Now the new camera is huge. It's probably twice the size of this. It's like this big. So you're going to have to account for that you don't create any blind spots. So yeah, let me show you. This is the power. So we're just going to take this out. Right? See how easy that is? You just hide it in the seams. Right? We're pulling that out. Yes, I remember this. I don't know what I did here. Okay, there we go. So I just ran it all along. See? Now it's out. Now it's out. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing. This is the rear camera. We're just going to pull this out, and then you're going to see I just ran along the headliner here. See, it ran down and up and around. You know, a lot of places have you, or a lot of YouTube channels I notice have you take apart all these internals, and there's really no need for it. So as you can see right there, I'm gonna give it a little tug. If it gets caught up, don't pull too tight. You don't want to damage the wire. So then of course there was excess here. I just ran it down and then back up, down and back up. You see that there. There's the old wire clip. Okay, pulling that off. And then for this, it had that little system. So, see, we don't need all that. You know, they use this 3M stuff, and man, oh man, it is the greatest stuff on earth for adhesion. But trying to get it off is a nightmare. Gotta make sure I don't crack my windshield before Mother's Day here, because we got some traveling to do. Yeah, that's gonna break that. Alright, now we're going to clean the windshield. Alright, so now we're just going to clean the windshield. You want to clean the whole windshield. A lot of people just clean the area. But you should do the whole windshield. So I haven't done this in a while on, you know, that cloudy, like how the windshield gets cloudy over time. That's what this windshield's suffering from right now. Just really want to make sure that's clean. Nice and dry. No streaks. Alright, so that's going to be my location. So yeah, pretty big camera. I'm actually really surprised at how big that camera is. Alright, so now we're going to run the rear camera. I hope you don't mind the shakiness. I got to do this one-handed, but we're going to plug this in right here. Okay. I actually can't see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do instead is take the camera off. And now that that's done, we'll put the camera back on and we'll start running the line. So I like to give these a little slack, and then I'm just going to push it up behind the headliner here. Now they do come with mounting clips. So you don't have to take things apart for this. Now you do want to make sure that the wire is not going to get pinched over time, so you want to make sure that it seats in there really well. You also don't want to create water leak issues. So, oh wait, wrong way. So I'm going to the back with this. So now we've reached this right here. I'm going to just... Now this is just to hide the wire. Right? Here, I need the mount. So again, I just want to make sure that nothing's really staying pinched. If it is, and just moving it along. Okay. And open the rear door. I'm going to continue to follow along. And doing this one-handed is interesting. I'm hoping that doesn't wash out the background there. Okay, now you might have excess. I had excess last time. You're just going to run it down behind the seat. This is actually taking longer with the camera. I think you really appreciate that when you do this yourself. It'll actually be quicker. Okay. Alright, I have the wire run, so now I need to clean the back window. I probably should have done that first. And I'm probably going to put the camera system somewhere around here. Actually, I might go all the way over to the right, because I actually want it on the driver's side. So we'll do that. Okay, so I'm getting ready to install, and you can see that I have those lines in the rear window defrost. And you just want to make sure that the lens, let me show you the lens. This is the rear camera we're getting ready to install. Just want to make sure that the lens is in between those, okay? I'll probably edit this out. So there's the adhesive strips right here, okay? You're going to see that I'm going to try to get it as high as I can, a little bit to the more to the driver's side. I don't want that light washing out the camera. And then I'm going to make sure that the lens is in between. I'm going to show you how to wire it. So it's got this little, what I did is I looped the excess down, so this wire is going to hang down here. Okay? Let's see if I can show you. It's going to hang down, and then what I'm going to do is bring it back up. So this part's a little tight here. Because my kid's head is right here, in an accident, if this wire goes flying around, I'm going to probably zip tie it up so it doesn't become a choke hazard. But now that it's, what I'm going to do is just come back up and connect it first, and then I'm going to run this wire. So there is a little tooth there that helps you line up the prongs. Okay, I don't know if that's a locking mechanism or what, but okay, so now we're going to run this camera up into the headrest, right? So you see that excess wire there is going to be right here. I'm gonna tuck everything behind. So now that wire is pretty much hidden behind everything, and you can see the camera. It looks pretty good. It looks really good, actually. So things are a little crooked because I've been doing it with a friggin' camera in my hand. But this should be enough away from the light that when the brake lights go on, it doesn't wash everything out. And then because it's between these lines here, you're going to be able to get a good image. You're not going to have any type of blurring issues. That's the hope. And the only downside is, the window tint obviously affects it. So let's move on. We're going to install the power. Okay, so on the Chevy Silverado, the fuse panel is right here. All right, so here we go. We have, I actually wish that this was labeled a little bit better. Here we have the empties here, the 47 and 48. So I need to find out which one is ignition and which one. So 19, 20, 21 is empty. All right, now because these don't fit, we're going to cut, strip, and then mash them in behind the fuses, which I'm not a fan of doing. I'm really not a fan of doing this. This is the whole reason I bought the kit. Okay, so what I've taken is the voltmeter and attached smaller wires so I can get into where these micro fuses, so to where I can get a reading. Okay, I'm going to take these. I'm going to see which lines are on and which ones aren't. So again, I'm doing this one-handed here because I have to hold the camera. Using my iPhone 12. Ready? Alright. Now we're going to strip these. Okay, so you can see that we've run this wire from the device. All right, it looks a little messy right now. I'm going to clean it up. But it runs along this headboard here in a similar fashion. Down, you can see the wire is here. So I'm just going to push that in because we just want to show you what we're doing. You can see the wire comes down here. I'm running it behind any obstruction, so there's a way to get in and out there. Run down, and then I would have liked to have shown you this. I just had to do everything one-handed, but that ground clip is right here. I tied into this screw, that little black clip, and then the wiring, you can see that I run the excess down into this cavity here, allowing for everything. So I run everything down here into this cavity, just so everything can stay out of sight, out of mind. That's what we want. And then you get a nice clean look, okay? So for those of you who aren't sure how this comes out, it just pulls out. I gotta do it one-handed, so it's not as easy as before. You see the dilemma. You see that little box, that little relay system, it just rests right in there. And you just put it in between everything, and then it just pops right back in. Really easy. You use zip ties, right? And then everything looks nice and neat. Neat. Unlike my truck, because I have 2 kids. And because I'm a slob. All right, everybody. So I lost the footage of me. I may have lost the footage of me putting this stuff in. And I know if I don't show it, I'm just going to get those people who followed along in the comments. They got all their wiring in. They're basically following my instructions as they do it themselves. And oh my God, he just skipped over how he put those wires in the fuse. I do it myself. I get so angry when people do it. So unfortunately, I can't show you exactly what I did because I lost the footage. So all I did was I pulled the fuse, right? So you got your fuse, and the wire is just going to be kind of stuffed in there. And like I said, I don't really like doing this, but if you can see here, I mean, it's pretty long, right? And I'm just making it so it's in there. And I know there's going to be tons of people that have opinions about doing it this way, but at the time I had no choice, and I never got back to it. And then you just pull it like that. You just want to twist that into a circular motion, and then you just want to make sure it's not going to pull out. Okay? That's it. You're going to do the same thing to the bottom one. All right? Right up top. Right? This is the one that I believe is on ignition, and then the one that's always on is yellow. Now, why does it do that? Well, if it's parked, you can put it into a mode where if it detects something, it'll turn on and record for a short time, but not run down your battery. And then, of course, once a relay, or I think it's an and/or circuit, basically when it sees two power sources at the same time, it's going to keep the camera on. And that's what allows it to do that without draining your battery. So let's see if me fiddling around allowed that to work. All right. We're in my truck. Let's see if the camera, which is off, turns on. There it goes. Its EMR detection has just gone off and it's recording. Okay? You can see that even though the screen went blank, there's a little blinking red light. That's telling me that it's recording. All right? Now, let's wait till it's done recording. And it's done. Now we're going to turn this on. It's going to boot up and it's going to tell me, hey, something happened. So SD preparing. Hey, you had a parking event. Do you want to play it? I'm going to go cancel. Okay, and then it's going to start recording as it normally would. It is now in an EMR file, which is permanently saved. Then later, if you notice, hey, I've got damage to my car, I can check it out. And that is how that wiring system that we just installed works. And it's fantastic, and it'll protect you, and your insurance company is going to love you. And it is just a really great thing to have, front and back. You can see that this is the primary forward, and that is my reverse right there on that. You can invert those if you'd like in the settings, but these cameras are great to have. These use a capacitor-based power source, which means it charges up and then slowly discharges for it to power down, and they are great in high temp or low temp environments. Okay, here you can see where we've placed the wires. This one here, this one here, and this one here, both 15 amp fuses, which are requested in the manual. Now, I had to do that all by looking at this. And this is a confusing, it's confusing. So I'm trying to look at the relays here. And I did this actually a year ago. And I lost the footage, and I recently found it again. So I remember that my camera crapped the bed. I wasn't able to continue. So, that being said, let's take a look at what we're doing here. So I think I said that it was the ignition. So 37 was a spare. I really, looking at this, I can't figure out which direction they're going in. So these, if that's a spare, I remember I tried looking for the relay. I thought these were the relays, 42. So if you look up, so I think what it is that I hold it like this, and then that is my panel. So that means 29. Let's look at 29. park-enabled EAP. I tied into the park-enabled EAP. Okay, and then if I go down from the park-enabled EAP, holding like this, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, skip 1. So it looks like I was on 36. If we look at 36, it's a spare 15 amp, always on. Okay, I did try to go spare on anything, but at the time, I just became overwhelmed. So again, if you're looking at this, it looks like these spares, so this is the left, are essentially the left here, okay? And then 29 is the next row, and then 36. So I use 29 and 36. I believe that this is 29. Oh wait, that's 29. So so the empty one's 29. It looks like I used 30. So what's 30? 30 is the COALC 15 amp. So I believe that is this is 30. I mean, this is 29. That's 30. I think 29 is empty. But if I count them correctly, let me just study that out. So I believe that's 30 and that's 36. That is how I got this operational. Now I did have to cut them and jam them in. So what I tried to do was imagine where the wire, basically the fuse, so I put it on the other side of the fuse. In case it popped, it would cut power instead of leaving power to it. So I believe that the right side, if the fuse pops, will cut power, have the power cut off to it. So I believe everything moves from left to right. That is how I did it. Now, just get this back in. I'm not going to video this. So that being said, everybody, the camera does work. The camera itself has some issues, and this is not the ideal setup. I said I was going to buy a new kit, but you know what? They're 15 bucks, and I just never got around to it. So we didn't do it. But ideally, I would want to get a micro fuse kit, because what happened was I didn't look at the type of fuse needed. I figured they were, it said okay Chevy Silverado, and I wrongfully assumed it was going to fit, and it did not. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Amazon says, yes, this fits your Chevy Silverado. It didn't. So. Jesus.
Oh my gosh. Should I call the...
Yes, call 911 right now.
Oh my gosh. Should I call the...
Yes, call 911 right now.
What, can you pull over?
I'm going to turn around. All right, guys, that was the video of how to install and wire up your dash camera. Now, I know that I lost a lot of footage, and there's some missing stuff there. I did try to fill in the gaps by filming recently, and you know, I know what it's like when you're new to something. You want to get something installed, and you want to get it installed right. And in the beginning, as a visual learner, you know, I need the whole long form thing, and that's what a lot of people have been requesting of me is, hey, stop speeding up your videos, stop adding music, stop you know, cutting things out, just do the long form for us. And I understand it, because that's the way I learn. When it's new to me, I need everything explained to me, and I need to see it all done out so I can repeat what was done to some degree. As I get more experience with something, then the short form videos help people were interested in my dash cam, mainly family members, and I showed them some of the video because they wanted to know how to install it, and of course explaining it to them wasn't as effective of just showing them. So I said, yeah, I'm not going to post this video, and they said, no, you really should post this video because there are things that I just learned that they go, I've seen hundreds of videos and no one has ever showed me like what happens when you get the wrong kit and a workaround to it. So as you saw in that, I just cut the, I got the wrong size fuses. I got the wrong kit. I cut the wire and, essentially wired it so I could get power to the kit. And it is a workaround. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Other people are like, oh, it's fine. You're going to get different opinions on how to do it. So if you don't like that, if you want to get it up and running, you can do that as a temporary until your new kit comes in, or you can just leave it as I have. I was going to get a new kit, and then I said, you know what, it works. So I haven't had any issues. I haven't had any problems with the vehicle. So I'm proceeding as it's fine. The accident that you saw was actually an accident that we were witness to. Everyone was fine. I know some people can be sensitive to car accidents, and you can see the value of the camera. Okay, it showed all the vehicles around me. It showed what happened. And of course, when I called the police department, I said, I do have a dash camera. Do you want the video? And they were like, yes, because, for some reason or other, I know what it's like when, you weren't paying attention, things like that. No one's hurt. Why not just say, nothing happened? The thing is the person that is heading through the intersection, basically you can put someone in hot water that doesn't need to be. And it allows everyone to just kind of come clean. And, the police department did want that, so I did provide it for them. Everyone was okay. I know that everyone's going to be like, oh, my God, why'd you post this? This was something that had happened over the summer. I haven't posted anything of it online. It's just been between me and the police department. Now that some time has elapsed, I blurred everything out so that people couldn't identify those involved in the accident. And, I think that's important for those people's privacy. If you liked the video, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down. I got someone that told me my mic stinks. Well, this is my mic right here. It's a HyperX Quadcast, and I use some filters on it to try and make sure that I sound okay, and hopefully this video sounds okay. So I will go through the video and make sure that I put a limiter on anything that's too much, and I'll normalize the audio settings for everybody. I'm Joel at Dissecting DIY. You have a good day.